Hey, Eric.
Hey, John. How's it going?
It is going well tonight. How are you?
Good. Good.
That's good. That's good. Good is better than the alternative.
Yeah. And I'm feeling especially good about myself because my middle daughter, who's out at college, we've been using the Apple Fitness app to do fitness challenges with each other. And
Yeah.
she always seems to win. I try to, work out and exercise, but she always seems to win. But this last week, I won by, I think, 20 points, which I was very excited about.
Is that close?
That's squeaking by.
That
that's
squeaking
close.
by.
No.
Okay.
It was like 2,100 to 2,063 or so. Anyways, it was close. So I was very excited about this.
It was very okay.
Yes. And this next fact in no way negates my win, but she was upset because she forgot to take her Apple Watch to the gym twice during that week. So they didn't count. But that's still,
well,
in no way.
Preparedness is part of victory.
Exactly. So, and
it's a hollow victory. It's a hollow victory.
She actually was sick. To top it all off on Saturday.
So she was sick and she forgot her Apple Watch, so you beat her. Okay, I see how it is.
But that didn't stop me from rubbing it
Bloating.
into her and say, I finally won.
Yeah, I see how it is. That's fantastic.
And then the other exciting thing that I did, and this is total nerd stuff, but I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week. I just got this ring. It's a health. It's got sensors in it. It's called an Aura ring.
Okay,
it's like the Apple Watch,
like a fitness device.
Yeah, like a fitness. Your Apple Watch will do that, but my Apple Watch bothers me. I don't like wearing it at night, and I've been kind of wanting to track my sleep and kind of other things, and I've been trying to find. I almost got a Fitbit, figuring I could wear a Fitbit kind of thing. Maybe that would be less annoying to me than a watch. But I ended up getting this ring, this Aura ring, and I really like it. It's it's giving me good data, and I like data.
Ooh,
and I like to see, what my heart rate is over the day. It'll even tell me my stress levels, and it'll tell me about my sleep. Apparently, I don't get very good sleep. I am a very light sleeper, according to my.
They're just trying to sell you their second ring. Yeah.
That's right, and I will probably get it. I like this one so much. I've had it a little over a week, I guess. I like it so much. I think I would get whatever the next gen is after this gen, runs its course.
So it is sufficiently unobtrusive.
I don't really notice it. It's larger than my actual wedding ring, and so it kind of looks a little bit out of place on my hand. But I don't notice it's there until I look at my hand. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, big shiny silver thing around my finger.
Right.
But I do like it. I'm a fan so far. Like I said, I've had it a little over a week. We'll see if it has staying power. But so far,
how long it lasts? Yeah.
It'll. The battery lasts a week. So
see, that's
I don't have to charge it all the time. Although I have been when I hop in the shower, I just drop it on the charger, and so it stays pretty much 100% charged all the time. Because in the 15 minutes when I'm getting ready in the morning, it charges itself up to 100%. So
my watch does not charge in the time it takes me to shower and get dressed in the morning, which is very frustrating. And that's actually why I don't have my watch on right now, is it died earlier tonight. And I was like, oh, my watch is dead. So frustrating. So, I think I complained to you when we were coming home from Texas that my iPad touch sensor was not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I took it into the Apple store like that next week.
And
And I feel really sheepish because the first thing he did was look
oh
at the
no.
Touch ID and say, well, it's all broken. Like, and I clearly hadn't ever looked at it. It's not called Look At Me ID. It's called a Touch ID. And it felt fine. And so, like,
There
literally
was a
the guy
lump
looked at
there.
it and he was like, yeah, I don't think that'll work. And I'm like, well, having now looked at it, driven, half an hour, made a Genius Bar appointment, and walked into the store, like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, and I will just have you know that an iPad without a Touch ID really is frustrating to use. Really is frustrating to use. Because
you just can't enjoy the pin. You're like, the pin unlock is just below you at this point.
Well, evidently a lot of what I use my iPad for requires authentication, and it's like so some of them will take your PIN, but some of them will not. They're like give you passwords. And you know how
instead of
how
Touch ID.
frustrating it is to have to type your one password every time you want to get a different password out of one password. Can I say password 5 more times in the sentence? It's really annoying. So fortunately, you told me that next Tuesday may be new iPads.
Correct.
And so I am biding my time and trying to be patient, but yeah, the Apple store genius evidently was like, well, you could try and trade it in. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like a awesome way to go. I'm like, can it be repaired? He's like, no, but we'll sell you an out of warranty replacement for $450. I'm like, it's a 4-year-old iPad. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why I would need a iPad hanging around here that I can't really trade in good conscience. But anyway, so hopefully next Tuesday, because I use my iPad a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And I mean, it's what I read on all the time, and I do a lot of reading. So anyway, so that was one thing. Frustrating.
Okay.
Second thing, I went on Saturday morning with a friend for them to buy a baler, as in like making hay bales. And,
okay. I read that as baller. I didn't know what a baller was, but it's a baler.
1L.
Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah. No, why would you? I don't know. Seems like a pretty crazy purchase, but it was a good deal, evidently. And so, I mean, I have not agreed to do anything like that with him yet, but I might buy a oh gosh, what's it called? Tedder. I might buy a tedder. And
another word I don't know what that is.
Well,
a baler. I think I know what a baler is. What's a tedder?
It teds the hay. It basically spreads it out. Spreads it out.
Your Mother,
spreads it out.
Ted.
Spreads it out to let it dry, and some you can get like a dual purpose tedder rake that you ted it to like spread it out, and then you evidently I didn't know ted was a verb either personally, and then
TED Talks.
No, that's an adjective.
Ted is popular.
Yeah.
Ted's a name. Ted's a verb. Ted.
The only thing I was gonna say about that is like we had to drive like 50 miles, and then it was like, how do you get it back? And he's like, oh, you just tow it behind your truck. And we're like, oh, because it's small enough. It was a small one, so it's only like 8 feet wide, which that's pretty wide, and you can't go more than 35 miles an hour. So it was a very long, very slow drive back which is why, like,
did you have to hit back roads, or could you do the freeway with that 8 foot wide?
Oh, no.
I guess that's a semi.
No, there was no freeway.
Oh,
it was all back roads. It was over the Chehalem Mountain and down out to Sheridan, basically. But Anyway, that was just fun. I mean, it was
Okay.
like, hey, this is going to be a long, slow drive. Have some company, and then see how it works. And see, I don't have a big enough tractor, and I think the last thing I'm going to do is go buy a bigger tractor so I can make hay, so to speak. Like, not a euphemism. So, anyway, I don't know what we're going to do. He says that it will work. Like our tractors, so long as you don't go fast, you just, go slow and it'll work. And I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, so that'll be maybe fun in the future. And then the other thing I was going to say, just because it's related to like, this is a different kind of nerd stuff, but so we went to a charity auction on Saturday for school, and it's it's good, right? We happy to sort of help support, but auctions, what do they have? They have like wine and wine trips and like spa things, and there's lots of stuff in the sort of catalog of things you could bid on. But like, I bought a board game, so that was kind of cool. Some a company had donated a board game, which was cool. And then we also bid on and won 10 yards of rock. And so
10 yards of rock,
like a local quarry had donated a dump truck load of rock, and honestly, there was nothing I wanted more at the auction than 10 yards of rock.
And what does one do with 10 yards of rock?
Well, you pretty much put rock wherever you want to put rock is what you do. Like, no.
Make a bunch of cairns around your property so people know how to...
Okay. No, you refresh the rock on your driveway or in your
is it gravel?
Parking lot.
Is it gravel rock?
Well,
in my head, I was thinking these big boulders like
like landscaping type stuff.
Landscaping. No. You're talking like gravel. Okay,
gravel
or rock like that. I get. Okay.
I don't know if I get to choose the size. They called it base rock, and I'm like, I don't know what base rock is. I know what drain rock is. I know what 3/4 is. I know what quarter minus is. 3/4 minus. Like, I know lots of things. I don't know what base rock is, but it doesn't really matter. The only thing the guy
base rock is a product as it. Base rock as a product is a densely graded blend of coarse and fine aggregate and is most commonly used in pathway and driveway construction. When compacted, base rock provides excellent stabilization underneath structures like patios, slabs, parking lots, sidewalks, and roadways.
So it's probably like quarter minus or 3/4 minus, which is perfect. So we might just have him dump and run it on our driveway.
There you go.
Which would be great. We haven't done that for like 5 years. So anyway, I just thought,
cool.
Hey, there you go. Oh, but the guy that, one of the guys that was at the table that we were at was like, when he was like, are you bidding on anything? And I'm like, we're basically a game and some rock. And he was like, oh, if you get the rock, the truck time is the expensive part. You should see if they can bring a pup truck and get 20 yards for not much more. And I was like, you are a genius. So I don't know if that'll happen yet, but if I can get them to bring a second, like whatever you call the trailers, I'll be on it. Anyway, all right.
Okay.
That's all. That's good enough. It was a fun weekend. Weather was pretty crummy, but got a lot done.
Okay.
Got a lot done. How about topics? Did you bring a topic tonight?
Yeah. So a couple topics. Number one, I want to say we talked about this at some point, but I tried to look back through the notes to find it, and I didn't see it. But the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, has fined the largest U.S. mobile carriers a combined nearly $200 million for allegedly illegally sharing customers' location data without their consent. So the FCC...
I had not read this, but I am so happy about this.
I
mean,
and
cat's out of the bag.
Stemmed. I want to say we talked about it.
We did
in 2019, because in reading the article, it stemmed from a motherboard article from Joseph Cox, who I know we've referenced before on the podcast, which kicked the FCC off into looking into it. And it's been 5 years now that they've been investigating. Apparently, they're going to do something in 2020, but had to wait for some reason. Now it's 2024. But anyways, they've been fined because the carriers sold access to its customers' location information to, quote, aggregators, who then resold access to such information to third-party location-based service providers. And the agency says the carriers effectively attempted to offload their responsibility to get customers' consent to share their location data with downstream recipients. Even after being made aware of the issue, the FCC claims the carriers still failed to limit access to this information. So T-Mobile fined $80 million. Sprint, which T-Mobile had merged with T-Mobile, faced an additional $12 million. So Sprint, T-Mobile, $92 million.
92.
Half of it. AT&T, $57 million, and Verizon, $47 million. Now, here's the flip side of this. This is AT&T's spokesperson responded to this action. Quote, the FCC action lacks both legal and factual merit. It unfairly holds us responsible for another company's violation of our contractual requirements to obtain consent and ignores the immediate steps we took to address that company's failures, and perversely punishes us for supporting life-saving location services like emergency medical alerts and roadside assistance that the FCC itself previously encouraged. We expect to appeal the order after conducting a legal review. So that was what AT&T said.
The whole contractually require frankly, the aggregator companies to do something that you know that they can't or won't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then Verizon had a similar comment. The Verizon, although said the company took swift action when, quote, one bad actor gained unauthorized access to information relating to a very small number of customers. And he said the central issue involves an old program that Verizon shut down more than a half a decade ago. And he added that the FCC order gets it both wrong in the facts and the law, and we plan to appeal. T-Mobile declined to provide an on-the-record response. So, So there you go. There's article number 1.
Okay. Well,
hopefully your location data will be a little bit safer.
A tiny fraction.
Tiny fraction safer.
Yeah. How about all those apps on device that have access to your location data that are sending them out to
all the aggregators.
The app metrics.
Yep.
Anyway,
segueing to that comment, basically, Google just published its annual report explaining how publishing malicious apps became harder in 2023. So last year's report bragged about how they removed or defended against 1.43 million apps, and this year's report claims that a whopping 2.28 million privacy-violating apps were stopped dead in their tracks, and 333,000 potentially malicious developer accounts were banned for handling malware or repeatedly violating the store's policies. Additionally, over 200,000 app submissions were rejected to ensure they used sensitive permissions like SMS and background location access properly. So that just gives you the scale. I think a little bit of the scale. If you're rejecting or stopping 2.25 million apps, privacy violating apps,
that's true.
How many get through and how many sneak through? And just how do you guarantee? I mean, great, good job. Keep at it, Google. But it is a massive number of people trying to push apps through the app stores. I kind of wish Apple would do some kind of report like this. I don't know if they do. I thought they used to do an Apple security report. I haven't seen. Maybe I just have to go look. Anyways, those are the two things I saw this week that I thought were interesting.
How many of those were repeat actors?
Just under a different name.
Yeah.
Fred 1, Fred 2, Fred 3, Fred 4, Fred 5.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why for banks, the whole know your customer is so important and is required. I wonder.
Well, this article does say that Google is pushing a lot more verifying the actual developers as well. So similar to how Apple kind of have to have a DUNS number and a bunch of other stuff that you have to do for Apple now.
Right.
You have to do for Google. So
there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Okay. Well, still is a lot of junk out there. Mm-hmm. Look out. And again, that's only stuff that comes through the App Store, not stuff that's like sideloaded or has, goes through the App Store and then downloads their own content afterwards, which is another big thing. Okay. Well, my topic for tonight, just one of them, but this kind of semi blew up a week or so ago. And there was an update just I don't know, recently, but, so the issue is that GitHub has a feature. The feature is that you can attach, files to comments in GitHub repositories. And those files that you attach are addressable via URL. Externally addressable via URL, presumably so that they can display the comment. The files that can be attached to comments are uploaded before the comment is even posted. So even if you have a draft comment or you delete the comment after uploading the file that you uploaded is still being served under a URL, github.com/project/repo, et cetera, that really makes it look like it's coming from not perhaps just GitHub, but also, the files that were referenced in here at first are actually underneath the Microsoft GitHub repo. So, github.com/Microsoft/ blah, blah. And at that point, anyone else, so it's basically like used as a hosting service for malware.
Right.
So Microsoft's GitHub repo was actively being used to serve malware. There were a couple of other repos in here that were claimed as well. The Microsoft one is removed at the moment, like they've gone in and deleted them, but there's no way for a GitHub administrator, like a company administrator, to edit these assets. It's all automatic. And so there's some dispute. Is this a bug or a feature? I mean, at the moment, it seems like Microsoft's largely being quiet on this. Although their malware the malware that they were serving has been removed, there are others that are still being served under other repo names. And the only way that a company can disable this is by disabling comments on their repositories, which can only be done for a 6-month period, according to the GitHub support. And dramatically, if you're trying to run an open source project, or even a company project in the open, means you can't accept comments or discussion from about the software. So here's the actual quote. Unfortunately, even if a company learns their repos are abused to distribute malware, Bleeping Computer could not find any settings that allow you to manage files attached to your projects. Furthermore, you can only protect a GitHub account from being abused in this way and tarnishing your reputation by disabling comments. According to this GitHub support document, you can only temporarily disable comments for a maximum of 6 months at a time. So I expect there to be more from this. Like, files can't be referenced until they're actually posted. And even when they're posted, they can only be referenced by, some other, like an authenticated GitHub user. I don't quite, the exact solution that they need to do for this is TBD, I think. But this was a pretty scary article, I thought.
Yeah. Duct tape and baling wire.
And by the way, security's hard. I know that we've said that before.
It's
security's hard. And anytime, maybe the appropriate euphemism here is, Eric, this is why we can't have nice things.
That's right. Can't.
So, yeah, because if it can, it will be abused.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Welcome to
That's
humanity.
my topic.
Nice. Well,
there you go.
I can give you my something fun, which I think is. I have changed my opinion a little bit on this one. So back almost a year ago to the day, I had finished reading The Three Body Problem, the series. So it's a series, Chinese author.
I remember that.
Translated from Chinese to English. It's like the first Chinese author to win a Hugo Award. So it's really cool sci-fi. The idea is there's a planet, a race of people who are more advanced than the U.S. They're 4 light years away, and their world is dying, and so they're trying to find a new one. I don't know that I'm spoiling anything. Anyways, when I read it, I didn't really like the first book. I was confused. I didn't really kind of understand. I got lost. But then I picked up with the rest of the series. I liked the books 2 and 3 better than the first one.
Okay.
Well, Netflix just recently has come out with an actual TV series, so 8 episodes that I don't know if they do the full first book or if it's part of the first book. Anyways, the series, I just finished watching it. It's
the whole thing?
The whole series, so 8 episodes. Okay. So about, I think, 40 minutes an episode or an hour an episode, something like that. So I just finished it. And I actually liked the series better than the books, or better than the first book.
Bite your tongue.
I know. It was a weird sensation. But I think the reason why is because I had the book in the back of my head, and it filled in a lot of gaps. I think if you didn't read the book and watch the series, it would probably be enjoyable, but you wouldn't understand why certain things were happening, or, it would be much more out of place for you.
Okay.
And I think they also, and it's not, it's English, British. It's not American. So they westernized it. I feel like they westernized it somewhat because kind of the main characters are English and a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is, but it worked. And the different, because the original book it's a global, you have this planetary defense council that's now global that the UN's running, and the end of the series ends with what they call the wall facers, which I won't spoil, but anyways, that'll be my, that's my something fun, is if you have thought about watching The Three Body Problem, but weren't sure, the books were good. It was interesting to kind of see things from a Chinese perspective. And I thought the series stayed pretty close to the books conceptually. I'm sure that maybe other people with more, that like the books more might nitpick on things, but I thought it was great.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well,
there you go. That's my something fun. If you like sci-fi and kind of weird sci-fi, Three Body Problem might be for you.
I will throw it on the list of things that I may or may not watch at some point.
That's a very long list.
I know. Well, you know, it's good.
You watch things occasionally.
It's good. I do once in a blue moon. But
if you're going to be so for example, if you're going to be on an airplane for a very long time, maybe download all the episodes.
Oh, see, that is very smart.
You have to watch. There's a couple episodes that you wouldn't want to have that are probably a little bit on the not safe for work. And the books were kind of violent and brutal. And some of the things that just in your head you imagined, the show showed. And it was like, I don't think I needed to see that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You know, there were a few spots I kind of skipped through, but I thought it was really good.
Good. Well done, though. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well done. Okay. All right.
I hope they finish it because now I want to see. It's a cliffhanger. Of course, it ends on a cliffhanger. Of
course.
Please, streaming service, Netflix, finish it. Don't just give up.
Right. Give the rights to somebody else.
Yeah. All right. There you go. That's my something fun.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. My something fun is something that I threw in a week or two ago into Slack, but as far as I know, there's been no update since. I haven't seen anything. But this is every 80 years. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Every 80 years, this star appears in the sky. It's a rare phenomenon known as a recurrent nova. I did not know such a thing existed. A recurrent nova.
That sounds like a oxymoron. Isn't a nova an explosion? Right? How do explosions
it is
recur?
It is. Well, so it gives at least some detail in here, but evidently this is it's not. Evidently, we don't have like the periodicity down, or it's not so. Since it only happens every 80 years, we've only had X. It doesn't even say how many times we've been able to observe this, but the opportunity to predict, it's basically going to happen sometime between now and September, they say. So that's a pretty big window. I mean, maybe not percentage-wise divided by 80 years, but I have to see when it shows. They said it should last for about a week. But,
okay, so it's not a blink and you miss it, or if you missed it this night, you're out.
Only in the galactic sense. So it's called T Corona Borealis, and it's in. Let's see. It says it's located in a horseshoe-shaped constellation called the Corona Borealis, or Northern Crown, about 3,000 light years from Earth. Unlike a classical nova created when a star explodes at the end of its life, recurrent novas erupt more frequently, but they are caused by different stellar processes. Only 10 of these repeating novas are known to exist in the Milky Way. Well, okay. So it's not
a small percentage.
A single cosmic body exploding, but there are two stars that are orbiting one another. And the larger, a red giant star, roughly it says the mass of our solar system sun, is losing its material, including hydrogen and helium. Some of the ejecta falls to its companion white dwarf star, which, it says, despite being roughly the size of Earth, contains about 40% more matter than the sun, making it incredibly dense. Yeah, that's dense. That's dense. So
I resemble that comment.
It says, I said nothing like that. It says, as the white dwarf gobbles up its companion's waste, its temperature rises and it becomes more dense. Eventually, every 80 years or so, it hits a critical tipping point, triggering a series of powerful nuclear fusion reactions that makes it erupt. So was basically like a geyser. My analogy is a geyser on a white dwarf. So it's a white dwarf geyser.
Your analogy is so much better than mine. You know what I thought of? You see those little birds that fill with water, and then they fill up with water, then they tip over and dip the water out, and then they bounce back up. I'm showing you on the screen. That's what I thought of.
Okay. Hey,
a geyser is so much better. Old Faithful in the Milky Way.
Yeah. So, so very cool. So sometime, hopefully, between now and September,
we'll be able to see something.
I will read another article, and or it'll come on the news, and this will become a more popular thing, and or who knows, or it just won't happen, and or it'll go unknown, and then the next time it happens, I'll be dead. So
cool.
There you go.
Not that you'll be dead, but something fun. Cool, something fun.
Oh no, I think you were celebrating my impending demise. Hopefully not impending soon.
No. We need to get 10 years at least in the podcast. 10 years and 300,000 miles. That's our goal for this podcast.
That's pretty funny. Okay.
All right.
All right, my friend.
All right. Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
Bye.